Now this blue guide rail doesn't exactly represent the stroke of the saw blade. So let's take a look at how we figure all that out. So let's go out to our class files right here and open up the folder slider crank stroke. And in there there's an assembly called slider crank stroke, and I'll double click on that. Now let's go and add a couple of PMI dimensions right here, smart dimension. I'll put one on this link and on this link down here. So we've got 40 and 110. And the simplest thing I've found to do here is to go out to a sketch. It's a lot simpler. So I'll go to the line, and I'm just going to imitate what I see here. I have 40 and it comes up about there, and I'll type in 40 and have another line up here about 110, and I'll add a couple of dimensions on these, 110 and 40. I'm going to go over here to horizontal vertical, and I'd like this to be horizontal to this. Let's work it out where this is horizontal. Now what's the stroke length? Now if I go here and tag on this and pull this out, it just moves around. So what I've got to do is go up here and go to the ground constraint, the lock. So I lock that in right there. And now if I go over here, so this is running out 110 plus 40, and over here it's 110 minus 40. We could imitate that with a line. We could come out here and say 110 plus 40, 150. So that's the extent. And then if we come back the other way, 110 minus 40, which is 70. So I'll draw another line here and just push that out 70. And again, I can dimension these, 150. And again, 110 minus 40 is the 70. So the stroke should be this distance right here. And if we go back and run this, grab on our link, we push it out and see it extends right there to that point, to the 150. If we come back here, it pulls back to the 70. So that distance there is 150 minus 70, which is going to be 80. So our stroke, I'll draw another line in here just to illustrate this distance from here to here. There's our stroke, and that is 80. And let's delete this line. And the question is, I'll delete this constraint, does the stroke distance remain the same if I lift this line up to imitate what's happening right here? So let's look at that. So I'll add a dimension right here, set this up a little closer, and let's make that 50. So let's look at the extent of the crank. It goes out this far and it slides out 40 plus 110. And we can just put a constraint on here, a parallel constraint. I'm just going to put a line right here. That's the distance it goes out. Now let's delete that constraint, parallel constraint, delete. Let's go back the other way and put another parallel constraint on this and draw a line. Now I just need to draw a line in between these two, this to this. And let's add a dimension right there. Now note what's happened here. The stroke length was 80 when this was on the same line here. And now, as we move this up in this direction, it's jumped from 80 to 92. And let's just delete this constraint right here. Delete the parallel constraint. Go back to that link. And you can see the link runs over 92. So to figure this out properly, you really need a good understanding of trigonometry.